Hi all, and we're now joined by IGN's own, or should we say formerly IGN, Luke Karmali. How are we doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, cheers. How are you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us. And we also have along for the ride our Norwegian non-princess,
Yeah.
Sophia Harris. How you doing, Sophia? You all right?
I'm excited to be alive.
Glad to hear. So mad, surprisingly. Uh, so anyway, you're joining us now for some Duck Hunter Q&A. I
I
suppose.
am, yes.
Yeah, so I've got some questions from the group, and we might as well get started. But the reason why I say this is today's the day you've actually just left IGN, haven't you?
Yeah, today's the day. So we had our Christmas drinks last night, which is why I look I look rinsed out, and well, I basically hijacked them for my leaving drinks as well. So yeah, I got in around 3 this morning, um, and yeah, very very emotional. Like we were all working from home today because we're doing an office move. So yeah, that's it. And we're going to see Star Wars next week, and I said I will see the guys again. But
Yeah.
no, I'm done now. I'm done at IGN.
Are you going to miss IGN then? Is it something?
Yeah, it's one of these weird things because I've just been on holiday and now I've come back. It's kind of felt like I've been gone for a while, but yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in. I think it won't. I don't start my new job till January, and I think until then I'm gonna still believe that I'm a little bit part of the crew. So we'll see. It'll take a while, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know, most of the people who watch us are probably duck hunters and they know your history, but what about a bit about yourself? What is your history before IGN and then up until you joined?
So really, I went to Warwick University and I did English and drama, and then originally I wanted to be an actor, shockingly, and I saw my friends going into it and was like, oh god, I better have a backup for this. So I was like, I'll take a year out and I'll do something else, and so I did an MA in journalism. And while I was doing that, I started writing for a couple of American sites. One which is massively.joystick, which is now, joystick is now
Yeah.
defunct. But they're now called Massively Overpowered, and they're like an MMO site, and also MMORPG.com. So I started doing stuff for them, some reviews, and that was fun. And then I ended up just kind of harassing Dan Kilby, poor sad Dan. I'd been like, give me work experience, give me work experience, and I eventually got it. And then I had 2 weeks there. Second week, Krupa broke his leg, and so I was like, well, do you want me to stay for a little bit? So I stayed for another week, and then when a job came up as an admin assistant, I applied, and then yeah, just stayed, just kind of rolled on into editorial assistant, junior editor, and then news editor a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how most people know you, that become as being the sort of the man behind the keyboard with all of IGN UK's news.
Yeah, exactly. And we also said back in when Stuart Reed was around before he died, we all kind of, me and him were kind of too tasked with figuring out how the news videos were going to work when we started. So we did that a lot, and now obviously Rory's kind of taken that on. But yeah, so it's been like I've done a lot of different things, which has been great. And hopefully some of that stuff will stand me in good stead for now. What's going on in the future? So we'll see.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go on to some of these Duck Hunter questions. As you know,
Okay.
the Duck Hunters are quite blunt at times.
Yeah.
I'm not apologising for them because you've got nothing to apologise for.
Yeah.
But the first question really is, well, it's not really a question. It's, well, I thought you were dead. What's it like being a zombie?
It's good. Well, as I say, we were drinking quite a lot last night, so I do feel quite zombified. But
It felt so
yeah.
unbelievable, right?
I know. I feel like death.
That's
Yeah,
why
it's all
I
right.
said zombie-lievable.
Oh, zombie-lievable. Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like a good fun. It's all right. It's kind of just a bit. Well, as I say, it's sinking in still. Sinking in.
Thinking it. Well, that's from Daniel Thompson. Next, Callum asks, well, who was the final straw to make you leave?
No, and it was kind of just one of these things. I've been doing it for so long. Rory, let's just say Rory.
Yeah, we'll just blame Rory. Why not?
Yeah, I can't deal with that anymore.
Too many cats?
Too many cats, too much, too often.
Yeah. If you could be any Final Fantasy character, who would you be and why? And that's from Brad Monroe.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I quite like Waka from Final Fantasy X.
Ooh,
I
good
think.
choice.
I think I'll go with him. Just because, everyone loves an underdog and he's a bit, happy-go-lucky. And in the end, he gets the girl, but it's tricky for him. Yeah, I think Waka. I like Waka, although he's a bit ginger, which, can't have it all.
Well, if you've got to take the bad, you know what I mean, with the good. So
Yeah.
can't
Okay,
win them all.
I'll take Waka then, despite this. Head die comes to Spirit.
Richard Page asks, "Are you really a prince?"
Am I really a prince? No,
Yeah.
sadly not. I don't know who came up with that. I think that was Alex, just taking the piss out of the fact that I'm rather posh. So yeah, I think it was Alex. So I have him to thank for that, I guess.
Okay. Tom Maramedos, would you rather have Watsits for lips or a quaver for a nose? He asks us every time.
Watsits for lips or quavers for a nose? I think I'd have Watsits for lips because I quite like Watsits, and then you can lick your lips and it tastes really nice. Whereas I don't like quavers. I'm assuming if it's quavers for a nose, you just smell cheese all the time.
Do you know what's really freaky about that? Rory said exactly the same thing as you.
Really?
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Twinsies.
I might actually put the videos alongside one another and just see.
Oh no! Oh, it's awful. It's all. Everyone says this. Everyone said this in the office as well. Like you ask both of us questions, and you tend to get the same poorly thought out answer. So
See, quavers, they were a British thing, right?
yeah, they're kind of like they're like little kind of wavy things, and they're cheesy, right? I mean, I don't like
Oh,
them. but-
okay.
Yeah. I don't
Like
like
cheese
that.
doodles or whatever. That's what we have in Norway, cheese doodles. Or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that even a thing? Quavers.
Quavers.
Why is it called quavers if it's cheese related? Because ours are cheese doodles. That makes sense.
That does make sense. I will
Yeah.
give you that. I mean, they were. It's not a musical thing. Like, I mean, they don't look like musical quavers. It's very odd.
I'm going to have to Google this now and find out exactly why before this podcast ends, right?
This has to be an entertainment interview.
Sorry for asking all the horrible, super difficult questions, guys. Hard-hitting journalism here.
Yeah.
Rough. Yeah.
Adam Bond asks, "Is there any circumstances in which you would return to World of Warcraft?"
Ooh. Oh, my horrible addiction. I've never really kicked. It's one of these things that usually I get really, really drunk, and when I come home from a night out, I'm like, I'll just subscribe just for a month and play a bit more. And so that's happened like about 6 months ago. I think I'd probably return. I'll go back when Legion comes out, just to see what it's like. But in terms of full time, what annoys me is that what I really, really used to like about it was the raiding.
Yeah.
And I kind of left when my guild broke down because I kind of you play with friends, right? So I was going to do that, keep playing, but it was different raiding with different people. And now, unfortunately, I just don't really have the time to raid. Like, it's so time consuming. And for me, like, looking for raid doesn't do anything. So I'll go back, but never to the degree that I was, which was like consumed.
Isn't that everybody though?
Yeah, I know. I do miss it at times, and it's true that like no other MMO really fills the void for me. Like I play quite a lot of Guild Wars 2, but that's just because it's really dip in, dip out, like, and it doesn't demand too much of me. But then sometimes when I want like a really hard fix of it, it's lacking. So I don't know, tricky.
Raymond Chan asks, "Can you down a pint?"
Of what?
Doesn't specify.
Yeah, well, see, that's a valid question to ask.
Pint of water.
Yeah, I can down pints of things. I don't drink beer. So
Prove it.
I don't have a pint glass around. I don't drink beer. But I downed a pint of cider before. So yeah, I can down a pint, lads. torpedoes and everything. Yeah, I can do that.
What would you rather down, a pint of milk or beer?
Milk.
Really?
Yeah, I like milk.
Oh, it's a pint though, and you have to do it really quickly. I was just like, I don't
I
know.
mean, it's quite thick, isn't it? Wait, it's milk that's on. It's not like off milk.
Somewhere in the middle.
Ooh.
Oh, has it got lumps in it?
Ish.
Mm.
It's
See,
just like, well, no, it doesn't have lumps, but it's like you look at it and you smell it and you're like, something's not right. You know what I mean?
Don't do this. Like I had it when I was like younger.
As
I
I
made
said,
tea.
I'm the hard-hitting journalist here. Tough,
Oh, when I was
tough
younger, I made
questions.
tea with like off milk and got a huge lump of kind of cream in my mouth at the end, which is a phrase that longs for it. Like,
yeah, don't give me ammunition like this, Luke. Please don't.
I was gonna say, why did that not a phrase? Oh. Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Okay, Reese Harley's got a sort of a double question here. What was working for IGN? What you expected it to be before you started there?
Ooh, actually, I don't think so. Really, I think there's this huge perception that we spend all day playing games, and the perks of the job are sometimes you get to go to events and play games and all of this. But in actual fact, like I mean, Krupa is probably the one who, for his job, has to play the most games. I think I've only ever played a game once at work in 3.5 years there. Like, I just don't do it. Krupa has to for reviews play games at work, but often he's so busy he ends up just working at work and then having to play these games for review in his spare time at home. So it's different. Like it was also one of these things like you definitely do get preferential treatment as IGN though, like as an outlet, which is great. But other than that, no, there was a lot more like work and less more like earning money to play games, which I thought it would be.
Well, fair enough, yeah. Well, I
Still
was
bit
in the office one day when you were there, and you were just furiously typing away with your headphones on, focused. So I'll vouch for you there.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's awful. Like I'm just sitting there like actually working, and I'm like, why did I do this? Like, what did I think I was doing?
And he also asks, do you feel IGN has changed since you started there?
Oh yeah, definitely, hugely. So it used to be very US centric and kind of led by, and I'd say more personality led. Like when we had Greg and Colin and all of that.
Yeah.
And also, certainly the way it used to work, the structure we had in the States was, we had Ryan McCaffrey as Xbox editor, you had Rich George as Nintendo, you had Colin and Greg doing the PlayStation channel. And it meant, some people preferred that because it meant, you have specialist voices that you could look at. But it really made it quite difficult because we don't have that set up in the UK or Australia.
Yeah.
So kind of cross-team communication was a nightmare. And so now what they've done instead is to have a previews editor across the board, a reviews editor across the board, whose job is to kind of like standardize it, and then people work on different platforms. And I think it's made it a lot better. It's certainly made it a lot easier for us all to kind of communicate. But like the structure, I don't know how much that's probably the biggest change you guys may have seen, got a glimpse at outside, but on the inside that was huge.
Yeah, interesting. I've got a really, as Sophia calls it, hard-hitting journalism question, and I'm sorry to have to ask this question to you. But the hosts of the superhero show have both been infected with a deadly toxin by an evil megalomaniac. You have enough antidote to save one of them. Who do you save and why?
So, superhero show is going to be, who are we going to have on it? Is this, so we've got what, Tilly? We've got Krupa.
Yeah.
Does Alex ever do superhero show? He does sometimes, doesn't he?
I'm not. I don't watch the superhero show, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Right. Let's say leave it between Tilly and Krupa. Leave it between. Oh. I'm gonna have to say Krupa merely because he works very, very hard, which means I can get away with not working so hard. So I quite like the idea of like him surviving, and then he'll owe me a lot. So then he will work even harder, and I'll have to work even less.
But so you heard it here first. Chris Tilly is lazy.
No, no.
Right, Jimmy Martin asked, what part of Swansea do you originate from?
So I was born in Swansea in Morriston Hospital, so on the maternity ward, and then I was raised in a place called Porthcawl in South Wales, and then moved to a place called Berkhamsted in Hertfordshire when I was about 13, which is where this accent has come from.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, like the incredibly posh accent. Everyone's like, "You're not Welsh." Yeah.
Does anyone at IGN have a normal accent?
Not really. I mean, Alex is probably the most normal, I think, because he's like, because he was born in London, but then I think, because he used to do Games Master, on TV and stuff, and so kind of got his TV voice, which is very just normal, like PR voice, so RP rather. So.
See, now in my head, I just hear that what is it called? Like the accent that they used to teach people in America for the television shows back in the old days.
What?
Everybody sounded the same, like way back.
Like the time adverts and stuff. All right,
what?
Before that. What, the time adverts? Are you talking way before that?
No, like way back when TV was like the new thing. You remember like all those like old ads and stuff from America, like radio shows? Everybody sounded the same, right?
Yeah.
That was the accent. Yeah, they learned that accent, and it was a mix of British and American accents.
Oh, so it's all very clipped.
What?
Where it's all very clipped, and they talk in received pronunciation, and da 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 da.
Yeah, and they taught that. Is that normal? Is that what you guys are defining this as now?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the idea of like I try and make myself seem a little bit more edgy by doing what's called Estuary English. Basically, you drop the T's in words. So instead of saying butter, you'll say butter and stuff like that, and it's kind of like, I'm a little bit street, but not really street. But yeah.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Exactly, it's like, Harry Potter, and so it's that kind of thing, which totally not me. I'm like, look, I'm not proper. I drop letters.
I got this already.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Yeah.
Sophia, you've got the most mixed up accent of them all.
I know. I know, it's a mess. I can't help it.
Lee Chestnut Lavage, or stupid surname as we call him, would you rather have the head of a dolphin and be able to talk out of your normal head, but be only able to communicate with dolphins? Okay, let's just skip by that. Jonathan Henderson, what's it like being really, really ridiculously good looking? I think I'll take this one. It's not hard. It's
I was going to say you'll have to ask someone else. I don't know.
I'm not joking. So what's it like, Luke?
I don't know. I don't know. Look, having this face is all right. It's just, but everyone I hate certain things about my face. It's just normal, isn't it? Everyone hates things about them faces.
You know, Zoolander would be disappointed if he heard you say that.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. You gotta own it. Center for ants. Oh my gosh.
Lee asked if you can list everyone that you've been compared to as a lookalike.
Me?
Yes.
Tom Daly, I get quite a lot. Javier Hernandez, I get. Jamie Cullum, I had a while ago, which I thought was a bit weird. Is that? I think they're the main ones I get.
You got one Britain's Got Talent last year. Someone.
Someone. Our old PR guy used to work for a guy called Will Geyer. He said I look like the guy from Mr. Robot. Is it Rami Malek or something?
I know, I don't know the name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who looks a bit like his eyes are quite sunken. He looks a little bit amphibious, but yeah.
You look like Jay Hernandez, though.
Yeah,
do you know who that is?
I get that. Chicharito, yeah, whatever his name is, yeah.
I don't know, something. He's in Suicide Squad, right?
No, that's Jai Courtney, isn't it?
Jai Courtney?
I'm pretty sure Jay Hernandez is in that as well. He doesn't play like a big role, I think, but he's in it.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I will look him up.
Javier Hernandez is a footballer who used to play for Man United.
That's not the one I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I'm not talking about a football player. Soccer.
Soccer.
No. No, he's playing like El Diablo or something.
Oh, right. I know you're...
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think so. Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Arjun asks how you feel about the multi-part Final Fantasy VII game and the fact that it seems to be handled by a company outside of Square Enix.
Ooh. So, I've actually known, I've known about it being handled by a company outside of Square Enix for a while.
Yeah.
But we haven't been able to tell you guys because we haven't been able to get anyone to go on record about it.
Sure.
I thought we were best friends.
I know, right? But we've known for a while. We need someone to go on record. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm not too concerned. I actually think, personally, has shown itself recently hasn't made some of the best decisions in the world. So the fact that maybe it's slightly being handled by other people doesn't really worry me. I'd actually be I'd still be worried if it was being handled by Square, to be honest. Having said that, my deep dark confession is when Final Fantasy VII first came out, I didn't play it, and then I played. I think 9 was the first one that I kind of got in the Final Fantasy door on, and then did 10, and then I did like the later ones, and then I've gone back and I've done 8. 7, by the time I got to it, it's like watching Star Wars and knowing Darth Vader's Luke's father, with the stuff that happens to Eric.
What?
And yeah, I know, right? And it's just like, it kind of lost that emotional punch for me, and the graphics were so dire. I just think, so I never actually finished Final Fantasy VII. I mean, I know the story. I never finished it. And so for me, I'm not going to have a lot to compare it to, and I'm looking forward to kind of now seeing it actually play out regardless. The multi-episode approach is something that I'm a bit nervous about, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm the same sort of idea as you. I just think it's if you can make more money, why not?
Yeah,
but the fans are always going to be, it's a business at the end of the day. But yeah. Adam Wrigley says that the only thing that he's learned from Prince Karmali is to always pee after sex. I don't understand that reference. Right, okay, I don't understand that reference. Have I missed this bit?
Oh no, basically, I don't remember when I said it, but it's true. You should always pee after sex to avoid urinary tract infections.
Okay, great tip. See, we're learning.
The more you know.
See?
Sophia,
exactly.
You glad you came on this?
Oh, I'm so stoked. I'm learning so much. You have no idea.
Sorry if I butcher your name, but Tayo says, will you stay in the Facebook group?
Yes, of course. I'm a duck hunter. So, yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Kaylin asks, will you miss Rory? We did say that you'd be the one person that's why you left. So.
Yeah, in all honesty, last night at these drinks, when I was absolutely hammered, we did get a bit emotional. It was like, oh, we must stay in touch. But I'm sure we will. Like, even when, it's the weekend or something, he'll send me pictures of cats and videos and stuff. So I'm sure that's not going to stop. I think I picked him up from now until forever. So.
Who would play you? This is just from me. Who would play you in the Luke Rory fanfic movie?
God, as long as there's a promise that I never have to watch it. Oh gosh. Well, let's say Rami Malek, the guy from Mr. Robot, because he looks like I had sex with a frog. Close enough.
I think I've got a title for this now.
Oh God.
Who would play Rory then?
Who would play Rory? Oh, he's got that. He would be really, really happy if I said Zac Efron circa High School Musical era.
So not current sort of Zac Efron. It has to be.
Well, actually, he'd be really happy if I said current Zac Efron. Tell you what.
I was going to say current.
Yeah, well, current Zac Efron in terms of muscles, because Rory thinks he's muscly. Okay. And then I would say, but the old hair, the kind of old hair. Rory's very about his Link-like hair. So.
Meta, as in the blogger on our website, Metacritic, asks, will you read his blog?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll link you. There you go, Meta asked him. You'll do anything for one more view, by the way. Right. What's the worst game you've ever had to review from Colin Fairs?
Oh, I had some really, really dire ones when I was doing the MMO stuff. Because the MMORPG.com basically was encyclopedic in terms of its coverage. So any browser game that could be deemed an MMO, and most of the ones I've reviewed don't even exist anymore. So it's like there's no point in me mentioning them to you. I only did one full review for IGN because the problem is it's timing. I do so much about my special subject is obviously MMOs and RPGs, and they take so much time. It then makes it nigh on impossible for me to do anything else. So I reviewed Marvel Heroes, which is kind of like it was created by David Brevik, who's the guy who did Diablo. And it's basically it's the Marvel version of that. And I found it really uninspiring and crap. And then he immediately released a massive update. Now it's Marvel Heroes 2015, and it's quite good. And we still get pestered. We get pestered almost daily to re-review it. We probably should at some stage, but I never had the wherewithal to go back to it.
Ah, that's an interesting one. The rest of them are just, I don't think. Oh, well, we've got one more, sorry. Colin Fairs asks, can you sing Prince Karmali to the tune of Prince Charming?
I imagine you can. I'm not going to. No way.
That is an answer. Can you?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got to do our really podcast regular questions. And that is, what is the biggest animal you can knock out with one punch? Since you ignored me at 300.
Oh, what is the biggest animal that I could knock out with a punch?
Yeah.
I bet you Rory said something really stupid, didn't he? I bet you he said something like a horse. You can't knock it.
I'm sure he said an elephant if it was tied down. No, was that Simon Miller?
With one punch?
Yeah.
How? With one punch?
Yeah.
I mean, a dog.
A dog.
A dog's quite tough. Maybe something. What's a bit bigger? A deer? No, a gazelle.
A gazelle.
You're just you're punching the cutest animals, like a dog, a deer, gazelle. Jeez.
I'm deliberately choosing ones that can't fight back.
Horrible.
That's tactics, my friend. Don't fight hard.
You should have said some horrible, crappy animal nobody likes, like a crow. You'd be like, oh, I don't care. You're like a dog.
Crow. It's just not very big.
Jim, you're doing better than Jim Trinker from Video Gamer. He said an urban fox.
An urban fox.
That's random.
They're the same size as regular foxes, although they're scrappier.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They've got more street smarts. And the classic, I know you may have answered this before, but where do you keep your ketchup? In the fridge or the cupboard?
Oh, in the bin, because ketchup is the blood of Satan.
Yes! Someone else is in the bin. I am so happy.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting. I'm not getting on board with it.
You're now the favourite person that used to work for IGN, that I know.
Yay!
Yay! Well, look, stay on for a minute after this, but thank you so much for coming on and answering all the Duck Hunters questions. I suppose we should say, on behalf of the community here, we're all going to miss hearing your voice on the podcast. You've been fantastic over the years, and I think the whole community will miss you.
Oh, thanks, guys. No, it's been amazing, and you guys have been incredible too. So yeah, no, keep up the good work.
Fantastic. Well, look, thanks very much for joining us. And you too, Sophia. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. Sophia?
Yes, I'm
I
here.
thought you were going to say something there.
I think it lagged because you guys stopped talking, and then I was like, oh, okay.
I'm just going to keep that intro. That was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to keep that intro. That's fine. Oh, so I'll stop broadcast. That would be helpful.